started, much at a simple start. So I started making a very module I designed myself, a very small market. And then I evolved the company, changed it from just a hardware manufacturer and designer and manufacturer to a full end-to-end software and systems communication company. And it took a lot of different steps along the way to get to that point. So the end, result and vision you see now, it took a long time to get there, and there's a lot of
long-term overnight success.
When your company, you went public around the same time as all these other consumer companies. You've got Groupon and Zynga and Facebook and all these companies that got a lot of hype. But I have to say, noticeably, like, you weren't involved in that hype. Your company was not. Was that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
Well, I bootstrapped my company. So I used credit cards, about $30,000 between credit cards and savings. At the time of the IPO, we only had 92 employees, which is very unusual for a company that was on pace to do $100 million in net income. And I didn't have any VCs, I didn't do any PR, I didn't do any IR. I didn't really know what I had. I just was an engineer, hands-on engineer. I built a team of hands-on engineers, no marketing, no sales. And so we didn't do a lot of relationships. And we sold in, really obscure emerging markets, because what we do is we bring connectivity to the unconnected people of the world. And those markets are kind of under the radar. So the company itself didn't do any PR, and the markets we played in, even though we shipped millions of devices, were so far under the radar that we were kind of a hidden company.
Okay, I'm going to ask you an NBA question first, because
John Schwartz, by the way, is a tech reporter, but loves sports.
Right.
Hey, but ask away.
Tonight, we tape on Thursday. Tonight's Game 7 between the Spurs and the Heat. The show will be aired on Sunday, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Who's going to win tonight, so we can see whether you're right or wrong on Sunday?
Well, I have to go with the Heat, just simply because the series has been so exhausting mentally and physically, and the Heat have the youth.
Okay, now for my awkward transition into something totally unrelated.
We'll come back to basketball.
You have no sales and marketing people, so can you explain the model? I know somebody from your company had explained it to me before, but for people out there, like, you have no sales and marketing, yet
you sell a lot of stuff.
You sell a lot of stuff, right, competing against
So I break it down into 3 key pieces that makes our business model work, and it's a very unique business model that people don't quite understand yet. The first one is we're an R&D powerhouse. So we have 170 employees now, over 100 R&D engineers. That's what I do. I recruit and build engineering teams and define great product opportunities. Second thing we do is we disrupt on economics. So we don't come into markets at 20-30% less cost. We go at markets 1/10 the cost. And we're enabling people to become operators with as little as $50-60 in the pocket, to become big operators with thousands or tens of thousands of subscribers. And the third thing we do is we have this great idea of a community. So we have an online forum where all our customers interact and self-support each other, and they also interact with our R&D engineers. So those 3 things together are very powerful, and it gives you this kind of evangelism and scalable effect to the business. And that's how we've been able to ship millions of units without sales.
Just a quick follow-up. Any of your competitors or companies in the same space adapting or adopting some of your strategies, kind of like a Me Too?
I haven't really seen it yet.
Okay.
So you have Western companies which get the R&D right, and they understand the markets, and they're starting to do more community-based sales, mainly on the software side, not yet on the hardware side like we do. But they don't have the cost disruption. And then you have the Asia companies that do have the economics to cost disrupt markets, but they don't really understand the customers, and they don't really understand R&D and software and cohesive hardware, software, really great user experiences.
Wall Street fussed at you a little bit about, you talked about how you were able to create distributors who are able to sell a lot. That you book the sale with a distributor, not when it goes to the final customer. You got that right?
Yeah, so all our distribution channel has been grassroots, and they're almost like a third-party logistics system in a sense. So we have great demand, so all our products pulled. And so our distributors start usually from like a garage or an apartment like I did, and they've grown with the company. So a lot of these guys...
we're talking about people in small developing countries, Africa, almost literally selling them out of the back of their cars.
Yeah, so they don't have the level of sophistication like big distributors like Amazon or Best Buy does. So it's very difficult for us to recognize sell-through, but we've changed our operations and improved it dramatically. We've created an inventory buffer warehouses. We've tightened up credit policies. So what we have now is although we do recognize revenue by sell-in, we have something now, I believe, that correlates very tightly with actual sell-through demand.
Robert, I have to ask this question of Mike. I'm going to ask it of you. Have you ever been approached by the NSA? The Bloomberg says National Security Agency demands schematics of communications equipment.
No.
Fair enough. That's exactly what Mike said as well. All right, can I ask you about basketball?
Sure.
Why? Why basketball? What is the fascination?
Well, first of all, basketball has been my favorite sport growing up. I played it. I've been an NBA fanatic. I've had courtside Golden State Warriors season tickets for a few seasons. So there's a personal interest. But another thing about it is the NBA. I believe the NBA is an international sport of the future. It's so well tightly ingrained in youth culture and fashion. And when I traveled the world on business with Ubiquity, I've seen basketball courts popping up in China and India and South America. So I believe NBA is a fantastic investment.
This kind of obsession of David Stern, he wants to expand overseas. I think
Explain who David Stern is.
The commissioner of the NBA. Is there a possibility? Where do you think the next team, the first team, would be outside? I've heard London. You've heard China. Realistically, do you think that's something within 5 years?
I think Western Europe might be possible. They have to figure out the traveling and the logistics. So you know the players, there's not a huge time difference while they're making road games. And then I don't know, when you have those stratosphere supersonic jets, maybe it could be eventually all over the world in 50 years.
Robert, I have to leave it there, but your prediction: the Heat will win Thursday night, and this will run Sunday, and we'll find out whether you're right. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Professor will be back in just a minute.